Chill out, everyone. There are more pop jams coming your way. For those of you with spring break fever, the Circle's Bar and Grill is having happy hour all night. Discounted prices for those lucky sorority girls. You know who you are. Now back to the jams.
This is the way my mother told me. She was a Delta Pi in the late 80s and survived that horrible night by pure luck. The night started with a traditional ceremony, not like the lame one we had. This was the 80s, so they had style back then.
Assume your position.
So what I was told is that the head Delta Pi came up with a great way to humiliate Marissa by spraying her with silly string.
Okay, let's whip it out!
But it ended up backfiring on her.
No! Wait! I'm gonna get help!
Marissa's accidental death isn't what closed Delta Pi. It's what happened after the incident.
Where is everyone?
The police found over a dozen Delta Kappas and Delta Pi's dead. That's why the house was closed down. They were afraid someone was stalking the Delta Pi sorority.
We're all lambs left for the slaughter.
But they never found the killer. And they never found one body.
They never should have opened it! Welcome everyone to the grand reopening of the Delta Pi house.
Yeah, so that's how the threesome works.
Oh.
So we're gonna do it.
There's a tradition at Delta Pi, and I want to make sure that we keep that tradition alive.
What is that?
Nice.
Now that's how you do it! This is a very rewarding and exciting time in our lives.
There's still a few of us alive. We deserve what's coming to us. The burnt one is coming. The burnt one is watching, waiting.
Die Delta Pi in 2013. Here's the storyline. It was only supposed to be a prank that went horribly wrong with dire consequences. Directed by Sean Donohue and Christopher Leto. Written by Arturo Portillo. Here's the cast. Andrea Alfonso as Donna Parker. Kristen Avery as Diana Parker. Kyle Ayala as Adolfo. Lexi Bothery as Cindy. Christine Bell as Chloe. Olivia Blake as Marissa Chambers. Keisha Burchard as Maria. Shade Burnett as Catherine Jordan. A great character, a great performance in this movie. Tanya Christensen as Katie Kaplan. Mike Christopher as Officer Toby. Madison Correas as Zoe. Cindy Kratz as Allison Murray. A great performance by Cindy. Excellent. And the cast goes on. I do want to mention, there's Roxy Vandiver in the flashback of Tina in 1986. Let's die Delta Pi in 2013. I want to give special thanks to Sean Donohue for sending me a link to review for my podcast. Wow. I love the low-budget filmmaking. Now, of course, every filmmaker wants to do a high-budget film. That's every filmmaker's dream. But when they can make a low-budget film and make it look like a higher-budget film, that just shows the talent of the cast and crew. Christopher Leto, I've seen quite a few films of his. He's an up-and-coming director. When they teamed up for this one, it shows pure awesomeness. Die Delta Pi basically takes place, it starts off in 1986. I love 80s. I love the 80s flashback in this movie too. What happens is the Delta Pi girls had this prank on this one girl, and well, you guessed it. A prank goes horribly wrong. But there's another character in this film. Shade Burnett plays Catherine Jordan, the house mom. I'm telling you something. I've seen Shade in some short films. I just thought that this, to me, is one of my favorite. In fact, it is my favorite. And a fantastic performance by Shade. She was fucking brilliant. You see her in the 80s, and just watch it. I don't want to give too much away. I don't want to ruin the film. There's a couple cameos. You have Roxy Vandiver. She plays a character, Tina, from 1986. You have Heather Stacy, plays Katie Kaplan, from 1986. Cindy Kratz plays a character of Allison Murray. I guess you would say she's a cop. She was part of the pack back in the 80s, and it comes to present day. And I tell you what, this film, to me, is a standout for two actresses. And they worked together before in a cool short film. But Shade Burnett and Cindy Kratz, I thought, were outstanding in this film. The whole cast was outstanding, mind you, but those two characters, to me, stood out the most. No disrespect to anybody else. Bob Glazier, the paramedic, can't forget Bobby. A Florida-based film. I just was blown away by the storyline, the way it was shot. The acting was superb. The very end, it was odd, different. I know Sean Donohue is an 80s fan, as you can tell by the start of it. People, I'm telling you, Die Die Delta Pi is one of its own. It's very different. The ending, to me, I think, is very different than most films like this would have done. They could have really dragged it out and make a part 2, a part 3, or not even that. You have to see it. The ending is different than a lot of films that I've watched this year and last year or whatever, that they tend to go a little fancy, over the top, ridiculous. But this one, I thought, was simple, flashy, fun, and different. A great job by the cast, a great job by Sean Donohue and Christopher Leto, a great story by Arturo Portillo. I really dug this film. So all you slasher fans out there, all you fans of horror with nudity, or partial nudity, however, this film is definitely for you. Really, really enjoyed this. Again, I think the 80s flashback in the beginning just sets the tone of this film that had me hooked, line, and sinker. And then when it comes to present day, some of the characters really stood out. Andrea Alfonso as Donna Parker really stood out. I mentioned Mike Christopher really stood out. Cindy Kratz and Shade Burnett, I think, if there is a case for Oscar nomination for a performance in a horror film, which horror films don't get that, it's the way it is, but if they ever would do an independent Oscar award, I would give them the award for supporting in lead, or however. Shade Burnett and Cindy Kratz, I'll repeat this, were out fucking standing. I love the character. I just love the characters in this film. Officer Toby, can't forget Mr. Michael Christopher. He just a well put together film. So there you go. If you haven't seen it, Die Die Delta Pi. I sound like a broken record, but I'm very excited about this film. I really, really think it's a stepping stone for Sean Donohue, and Christopher Leto is getting better every film as well. This is Gruesome Herzog. I give this film an 8.5 out of 10. I absolutely enjoyed this slasher. I'm a big slasher fan, a big 80s fan, and I'm a big fan of Sean Donohue and Christopher Leto. And of course, Shade Burnett and Cindy Kratz. And Tanya Christensen, another fabulous actress. This is Gruesome Herzog, and I'm out of here.